Okay, let me go ahead and start presenting. So I am coming to you from Shasta College, and I am so glad to be here. It is morning for me right now. It's about 9 a.m. Good morning to you, or good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are in the world. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you very much for tuning in and joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section below, and I will try to get to them during the presentation. If I'm not able to, I will make sure to get to them afterwards. Let's see if this is working. All right, I just want to make sure that we are all set. Perfect. All right, so just to tell you what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to start with just giving you an idea of who I am, get you a little bit of introduction so you get to know who I am, what my background is, why you should care about what I'm saying, all that good stuff. We're next going to talk about where is Shasta College. I think it's really important to set the scene so you know exactly what it is I'm talking about, because when you think of California, there's a lot of different things that come to mind. Next, of course, I'm going to talk to you about why you should consider Shasta College. That's the reason I'm here. And then we'll finish up with a little question and answer session. Before we dive in too much more, I wanted to start with a question. So I really want to get to know you guys a little bit better. And so I want to know, what is your why? So what is motivating you to study in the United States? Obviously, we want you to come here, but it will help us to kind of understand a little bit more about your background. And so I'd love to learn more, and feel free to comment in the section below so we can read more. I also wanted to say I'm really excited to be talking to you from the heart of Northern California. Obviously, I really want you to come to Shasta College, but hopefully with all these presentations, we're just helping you to better understand your options. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for you. These are to help inform you to make the best decision for you, so you can understand everything that's out there. And even though I'm going to give you information about Shasta College, we want you to go to the school that's the best fit for you. You can make with these, you can make an informed decision about what will fit your needs and your lifestyle. All right, so just a little about me. So who am I? So my name is Ryan Nico Lockery. I'm the Student Services Coordinator at Shasta College. I work in the Global Education Center. Here it's me. I have a director, a dean, an admissions specialist, and an international student counselor. We tend to deal with our international student services. We deal with our study abroad programs, which is really exciting. And we also get to host campus events. So right now that is definitely a little bit different since all of our campus events are virtual. But in the past, I've had the pleasure of organizing like an international student Thanksgiving event and a multicultural fair in the spring. And it's just, that's the fun part of my job, is I get to host these events where we get to have food trucks on campus and performers come. And that's a lot of fun. So we have our website there, shastacollege.edu/globaled. And then that is my email address. If you have any questions, this will all be posted later as well, but it's rlockery@shastacollege.edu. If you don't know how to pronounce my last name, you can pronounce it however you want. That's completely fine. And then I do have now a personal Twitter. It's just globaled@_Ryan. And that's where you can find me. And that's where I'll try to be sharing updates, information, and things that are a little bit more, I can share a little bit quicker. All right, so just to give you a little bit of background about my educational history. So I actually was a student here at Shasta College. So out of high school, I came here to this 2-year university. As a student here, I was lucky enough to study abroad. And so I got to go to South Korea for a semester through Shasta College, that changed my life. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. While I was here, I was also on the student newspaper. I joined volunteer clubs, and I met some really great instructors. So as you can tell, I had a good time here. And so now I'm working here to be able to advocate on behalf of it. After Shasta College, I transferred to Southern Oregon University in Ashland, Oregon. Ashland's beautiful. I strongly recommend it to anyone who wants to go. And I received my bachelor's in communication from there. I am currently in a master's program at Washington State University. So as you can tell, I love the West Coast. I've been now to college in all 3 of the states except for Alaska and Hawaii. And I just couldn't advocate it more. It's beautiful up here in the Pacific Northwest, or PNW. The photo on the bottom left that you're seeing, last year I accompanied our study abroad group to Fiji. And so it was really tough. You know, I had to go scuba diving. I had to go in the forest and learn about scientific expeditions. It was so tough. No, it was really fun, and it was a blast. The bottom center picture, part of the appeal of Northern California is our many mountains and trails. And so that's me hiking. That's probably one of my favorite things to do up here. The bottom right picture, that's me and my girlfriend Kiva. We had just done the mud run. And so it's a 5K run that basically raises money for charity. And the point is you just get really muddy. So that's the before picture when we were all clean and happy and not covered in mud. All right. Awesome. So now I just want to talk about Shasta College a little bit more. So where is Shasta College is kind of the big question. When people tend to think of California, they think about LA, probably like Hollywood, or they think about, and when they think about Northern California, what comes to mind with NorCal is typically San Francisco. If you like wine, there's a lot of wine tasting around there. If you're into the outdoors, Yosemite. But as you can see from where San Francisco and LA are, they're not really Northern California, either of those. San Francisco isn't the real Northern California. So people in Redding, they know that when you go north of San Francisco and Sacramento, that's where the real NorCal begins. I won't turn this into a boring geology lesson, I promise, but just a little bit about the state of California to get you introduced. We are at the top of the Sacramento River Valley. And so as you can see where we are, we're surrounded by mountains on three sides. And so we live in a gorgeous little place. The Sacramento River flows through the center of town all the way down to, you guessed it, Sacramento, and then out to the Pacific Ocean. But where we are, there's lakes, there's rivers, there's mountains. Really, if you like the outdoors, it's a paradise up here. And that's why a lot of people come up here. If you live in Redding, it's because you like mountain biking, you want to go to the coast and it's close, you like skiing, snowboarding, but it's not like a tiny little mountain town where you don't have any resources or anything. So yeah, the city of Redding, so that is where Shasta College is mainly based. We do have a couple different sites. This is where our main campus is. The picture you're looking at, that building, that is our downtown health sciences center. And so if any of our students are interested in nursing, dental hygiene, anything like in those paths, they have a special building that's new and beautiful. And it also houses some of our students who are going to Chico State and taking those classes. But that is our downtown health science campus, which is really awesome because all of the classes are in one building, makes it easy to find. We are a city that has 90,000 people. And so we're not a huge city. If you're looking for a giant big city like LA, we're not that, but we're not really a little mountain town where you can't find anything. One thing I like about Redding is that anything you need, you can find here. So if you like theater, we have a theater. If you like shopping, we have shopping. If you like the outdoors, we have the outdoors. We're not such a small town, we don't have a hospital. We have a hospital here. Our county, Shasta County, is 200,000 residents. So it's pretty spread out. We're kind of the big city in the center, a big city of 90,000. But we are kind of the hub where everything starts. We do also have an airport, I should mention. And so a lot of our students do choose to fly directly into Redding. We have direct flights from LAX now. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But if you want to get here, you can fly into San Francisco, into LA, and then fly directly here. One of our biggest claims to fame is our Sundial Bridge. And so we are very proud of this. It's a bit of an architectural wonder. This was designed actually by the famous architect Santiago Calatrava. And so if you've heard of him, he has designed bridges, museums, art and science buildings. If you know the Olympic Sports Complex in Athens, Greece, he designed that. And so we were very happy that such a big architect graced our town with his presence. And so we love our Sundial Bridge, and it actually does function as a sundial. And so on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, you can actually tell by the shadow exactly what time it is. You can also tell from these pictures, it's fully suspended by cables. And so there's no posts going into the water. So we really like our water. That's the Sacramento River. People who like fishing, we love our fishing. And so the fish can travel underneath completely undisturbed. That was a really big part of why we wanted it built in a certain way. We wanted to make sure that it was beautiful, it was functional, it's a walking bridge, and also it's not disturbing the nature and the animals around here. So Mount Shasta, you'll notice a lot of places around here are named after Shasta. Shasta was a large Native American group and now have given their names to Mount Shasta City, Shasta Lake, and of course our own Shasta College. What you're looking at here is Mount Shasta. It's the tallest mountain in our area, and it is the fifth tallest mountain in California. It's about 15,000 feet or 4,500 meters, and it's great for snowboarding, skiing, or just hiking near its base during the summer. So a lot of people who are coming to Reading aren't really sure about the weather. If you think of LA, you probably think of moderate temperatures. In Reading, it does get a little bit hotter here in the summer. So average summer temperatures are about 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, which is about 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. We do have a dry heat, so it's not muggy, it's not humid. You don't walk outside and you're covered in sweat. When it's warm in the summer, that's when we tend to go to our lakes and our rivers. So it's really nice that we have lakes so close that we can just go and travel there and just jump in. So it's not too bad. Winters are very moderate here. It's about 16 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So we do get a little bit of rain in the winter, but in Reading, it's very unusual to get snow. If you want snow, you just go an hour north to Mount Shasta Ski Resort. You can go in the mountains around us, but the nice thing about our town is that we don't get a lot of snow. So getting around. So again, students who come to Shasta College tend to fly in from either San Francisco or LAX, and then you can come to Reading directly. While you're here, all of our students do get access to our local bus. So we have RABA, Reading Area Bus Authority, and our students just need to show their student ID. They just show their current student, and you can ride around anywhere in Reading. So if you're on campus, you want to go to a restaurant the other side of town, you just hop on the bus and it's no problem. We have a bus stop on campus too, which makes it nice. If you're in Reading and you want to travel, you say you want to go to San Francisco for the weekend, you can take the Greyhound bus. We have a station right in town. You can take the Greyhound bus to an Amtrak and then go anywhere along the West Coast or farther. If you're just in town, you can take a taxi, or of course we have Uber and Lyft. So fun things to do in and around Reading. So of course we are a nature lover's paradise. The photo on the upper left is Bernie Falls. That was named the 8th wonder of the world by President Teddy Roosevelt. It's an incredible waterfall that's just about an hour outside of town. You can actually walk down to the base. You can jump in the water down there. It's always a little bit cool, which is kind of nice. It is about 114 feet tall, which is about 35 meters. And this is just one of our natural wonders. Everyone who comes to Reading, I recommend go to Bernie Falls. We also, of course, have a ton of hiking and outdoors, things for people to do. And then our Mount Shasta Mall, so people who like to go shopping, we have a mall right in the center of town. If you like bicycling, we have tons of bike paths. This is a very mountain bike or bicycling friendly town. The bottom center photo is our Shasta Dam. And so any students who are interested in like engineering, we have a lot of dams around here. And my brother actually did that. He's a civil engineer. And so he worked with a local government agency, and part of their job was just to go check the structural integrity of all the dams around here. So that's Shasta Dam, right in front of Shasta Lake, right in front of Mount Shasta. A lot of Shasta things here. And then camping, of course. There's tons of camping spots nearby, right outside of town. The city of Reading itself too is really fun. It's a fun place to live in. So we have a lot of community events. These do look a little bit different right now, but generally speaking, we have a Cascade Theater. So it's an Art Deco theater in the style of like a 1930s theater, and it's got we get local concerts that come here. We get magic shows. We have comedians that come traveling through every Christmas. There's a Christmas performance that's put on there, and so that is right like in the heart of our downtown. You just park and you can walk there. There's restaurants right around there. Reading is surrounded by a lot of open spaces, and so we do have like a rodeo. The rodeo is also a really big event here. The top right photo is the Sundial Bridge again. And every 4th of July, there's always a big fireworks show, and a lot of people go to the Sundial Bridge. There's live music, and there's usually people who are, there's usually concerts and performances going on there. And so that's kind of a hub. We have farmers markets. So we have, if you like fresh food, you can come like every Sunday or Thursday and actually kind of experience some of the fresh food that's grown locally. And actually that picture is on campus. And so we do have even a farm on campus. And so those, the students in that program will end up sometimes selling their extra produce or their plants. We do have a Christmas fair, of course, every Christmas. And then the bottom right, the Turtle Bay Museum. So that's again, right next to the Sundial Bridge. And there's usually, if you go there, there's a coffee shop right out front, and there's typically always a music performance going on, no matter what time you're going there. So, like I said, the community events now are a little bit different. We, as a city and a community, want to make sure we're safe, we're staying healthy and socially distanced. So we have shifted a lot to virtual. I mentioned this because like a week or so ago, my girlfriend and I went to a concert in town, which is where we sat in front of our laptops and watched a local band perform. And we had takeout food and we're eating just from right here, our own home. And so it was kind of nice. We could just stay home and still see and support a local band. And so the city of Reading is making sure that we are staying safe and healthy. All right, so let me switch gears a little bit to Shasta College. I do want to check out the comments real quick. I see someone's watching from India. Hi, welcome. Nepal, hello. Let's see. And so it's good to see everyone. I appreciate everyone watching today. I appreciate you tuning in from wherever you are and what time it is in the world. But I know now you probably want to hear about the college. That's why you're here, is to learn about Shasta College more so than the beautiful area we live in. But I do have to say it is quite gorgeous. So we are part of the largest educational system in the world. We are a California community college. There's 115 colleges, and one of them is actually completely online now, which is pretty exciting. The way our system works is you would come to Shasta College for 2 years, and then you would transfer to a state university, a University of California, or any other university of your choice. And so we're a 2-year institution. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Part of the fact, one of the appeals of our school is we have small class sizes. So classes tend to be 20 to 30 students. We only have a few lectures that are 50 or 60 students, but for the most part, it's nice and small. You can actually meet your instructor. If you have a question, you know who to ask, and they'll actually know who you are, rather than having a class taught by like a tutor or a TA or something. So one of the things we pride ourselves on is our support as well. We want to make sure that all our students feel like they know who to talk to while they're here. And of course, we just have a beautiful campus. So even though I'm broadcasting live from my living room, the photo behind me is what our campus looks like in fall. So every fall, our trees turn yellow and red, and it's just a gorgeous place to be. We have a redwood grove right on campus. We actually have a small fountain that people take their lunches on. It's once you're here, you kind of just want to hang out, sit in the shade, and it's really nice space to be at. So we like to say that we give a big college experience in a small town environment. So we want to make sure that you are, since you're here, getting a great academic time. You're having a really good time and learning a lot, but you can still get that small town environment. So we have teachers who are dedicated to teaching. As you all know, that people don't typically go into teaching to make a lot of money. Teachers do this because they're passionate about their subjects. So we have instructors who have worked in the professions before. We have like geology instructors who take their kids on field trips because they want to learn more about the geology and teach more about the geology of the local area. We have tons of free help for our students. So we have a brand new learning center, which is new as of, actually I shouldn't say brand new, about 5 years ago. But we have tutors, we have a writing center, math and business center, and then we actually have a couple different science learning laboratories. And so if you need some extra help in your chemistry class, you can go and meet with one of the tutors there. And because you're a student here, it's completely free. It is also a safe and secure environment. So we do have an on-campus security presence, so they're called campus safety. We really want to make sure that our campus is safe and that the students here don't feel like they need to worry or anything. And so we have around campus these blue phones that you can always call. So if you're on campus and you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you're not sure why, you can call and have one of our campus safety officers come and like walk with you, for example, to your car or to your friend's car. Reading and our community welcomes international students and encourages diversity. So we appreciate the value of seeing people from different backgrounds here, because we really want what's best for our community. And we know that part of that is having these voices from backgrounds that are different from our own, because they have ideas that are different from our own. So typically, we do have a lot of on-campus events. As you can imagine right now, this is a little bit different, but our largest event of the year is our graduation. This past year, we actually had our first virtual graduation, and we also had the most students apply to graduate as well, so that was kind of fun. But we love being able to celebrate our students and their success. And so every year, we typically have a huge event to make sure that our students really get to feel celebrated. We also have a lot of welcome events. So we want to make sure that while you're here, you get to know other students, you get to know the clubs, you get to know the community groups. And so we put that right on our quad, so right on the center of campus. So even if you're just in between classes, you can stop by, you can have a little bit of fun, and you can meet some other people. The photo on the top right, we do have every year a civic engagement kind of event. And so students who are in these programs that are really trying to make connections with the communities, they get to do a project and then present and say, like, I'm really interested in community health. So I'm going to make a presentation about how to improve the community's health. And then we can invite some folks from the actual Shasta County Health and Human Services Agency to come down and visit and kind of learn more about what our students are doing and what they're passionate about. The bottom left, so we love having a multicultural fair. So we have an event called Culture Fest every spring. And so this is where we have local performance groups, we have food trucks on campus, and we really want to make sure that we're celebrating the beautiful colors and the richness of our area. Every year we invite our international students to participate. If you have a performance you want to do, we'd love to have you. If not, you can still just come and, like, for example, we have a group from Mount Shasta that comes down and performs Japanese taiko, and you can just come and basically get a free concert. And of course, there's food trucks, and so that's probably everyone's favorite part about it is you can eat cafeteria food or you can go to the food truck and have cafeteria food is great, but it's really exciting to be able to have something that's a little bit different. We also have events that basically introduce you to different departments. And so a lot of times students aren't even aware of all the different things on campus. And so we want to make sure that you're exposed to all of our different offices. So if you have a question or you're interested in a club that you never knew that existed, we want to make sure that you are exposed to it. And we've shifted. So right now we're doing a lot of virtual events. If our student doesn't go to class on a Tuesday and we have an event on a Tuesday, we want to make sure that they're still engaged. So a lot of this will be, for example, social media participation. We love doing competitions where you get to dress up and kind of show off like your Shasta College pride, but maybe you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Or for example, like during the week before final exams, we put together a video about the virtue of having pets. And it was just a fun way for people to be able to engage and meet each other without actually having to come to campus. And so it was nice and safe, and everyone was able to do it from the comfort of their own home. I feel like a lot of people don't really know about, so Redding, California seems like a small town, and so it seems like maybe a backwards kind of city, but we have really great and thriving like sports, art, music, and theater. And so sports, we have football is definitely our biggest, but we also have like softball, baseball, basketball, wrestling, soccer. And so we have thriving sports teams. We also have a really great theater. Again, I think that's something that surprises people because they think that we're just kind of a small town, but we have a great theater. And actually my girlfriend and I love to go to our shows because they're usually so top notch and high quality. Just the set design by itself is it's just beautiful to be there and see these students create something amazing. If you like music, we do have like a chamber choir, we have orchestra, we do have like a jazz band. We actually have an opera class, which was pretty surprising to me, but the first time I went to an opera concert, I was just blown away by the talent of some of these students. We also have a thriving dance program, and students do a show at the end of each year. And then the bottom right photo, again, I think this is surprising. We actually have an art gallery on campus. And so this is just right across from the library. And this showcases art from students, from staff. Sometimes we'll have rotating artists that put their art in there. And then in the art gallery itself, that's where if students are interested in like painting and drawing, we even have a pottery class or glass blowing. I think that's, again, people don't really associate a community college with glass blowing, but that's a huge draw. And those students make some incredible pieces. One of the other things we're proud of is we do have dorms on campus. So again, in the community colleges, this isn't actually super common. So there's about 115 colleges. I want to say about 13 or 14 of them have dorms right on campus. And so we are proud of the fact that we have dorms. And so if you live here, you're a minute away from your class. You can roll out of bed and walk to class and you'll be fine. It's also pretty competitively priced. And so it's about $15 a day. It is 2 people in a room. And this breaks out to about 4,400 for an academic year on campus. So with our dorms, there are 2 students per room, pardon me. There's a full kitchen. You can get meal plans. That's completely optional. There's laundry facilities. There's a rec room. There's Wi-Fi. I feel like that's kind of a must with any kind of college dormitory. And then in the commons area, there's actually movies. And so the dorm students end up actually having a lot of fun. I feel like every time I hear about them, they're doing another event, or they're doing kind of a icebreaker, a get to know each other event. So every time we hear about the dorm students, they're just enjoying themselves. One of the other nice things about our dorms is there is always a campus safety officer. And so the way it's broken up is there's a men's dorm, there's a women's dorm, and there's a commons area. And so in the center building, the commons, there's always a campus safety officer. And so if you're in your dorm, it's late at night, you're worried, you hear something outside, you can always call them, or you can check and or report it to them, and you can you can feel safe and secure. I tell this to our students. Students don't usually care, but tell it to your parents. Parents usually end up caring that there's someone who's there to kind of watch out for you. And if you don't want to live on campus, that's totally fine too. We completely understand. So off-campus housing is available within a short travel distance. Typically, it's about $800 to $1,200 a month. So it's a little bit more expensive. Well, depending on who you live with, it can be more expensive than the dorms. If you live with a bunch of roommates, it can be a little bit cheaper. We do want everyone to know that during the summer, so June, July, and the beginning of August, our dorms are actually closed. And so we have community groups who will end up staying in there. Or for example, this summer, they're going to be recarpeting the whole thing. And so we don't have it open during the summer. So typically our international students, if you're staying here for 2 years, you'll come, you'll live in it for the first year, and then maybe you and some friends will get an apartment for June and then the next year. Just to kind of contrast, so living in the Bay Area or LA, the cost of living is way higher. So it's about $2,000 to $3,000 per month, and that's pretty conservative. So living in Redding is pretty cheap, pretty affordable. So just to kind of change tacks for a second before we go back, this is one of our past students who ended up going to San Diego State University. So Hwayon came to us from Hong Kong, and he said that Shasta College provided me with a great educational environment. Teachers were extremely knowledgeable and also very helpful. Shasta College was definitely the perfect stepping stone for preparing me to go to a four-year university. And he ended up getting his degree in business administration and graduating from San Diego State University. And so we were really happy to have him and really happy to see him succeed. All right. So just to talk a little bit more about why you should study at Shasta College. To simplify, there's 4 C's. There's the curriculum, there's the cost savings, caring faculty and staff, and convenience. So we'll start with the curriculum. This is the academics part. This is why you're at a college, for the classes. And so we do provide quality education. We have great instructors who all have typically degrees in their field. Students who want to transfer, we make it really easy. And so when people think of a degree in the United States, they typically think of a 4-year bachelor's degree. And so we provide the first half of that. And so students can spend 2 years here and earn a transfer degree. And then you can make sure this helps because you know that the classes you're taking will be able to transfer to a UC or a CSU. We do offer ADT degrees, which are for CSUs, and then we have a tag agreement with UCs. I'll talk about what those phrases mean. But just to talk a little bit more, if you are interested in community colleges, you've probably heard the 2+2 model a lot. And so you may have already heard about this. If so, I'm sorry, but just to kind of explain it once more. So again, a lot of times students who are coming to the United States want a 4-year degree or a bachelor's degree. We are a 2-year community college. And so students come here for 2 years and then spend the next 2 years at a 4-year university to get their degree. And so you might be thinking, why would I want to do that? Wouldn't I just want to go to the big college for 4 years? And you absolutely can. That's still an option, and it would still be amazing. The reason students tend to come to a 2-year college, one, it can be cost. And so we are typically much cheaper than a 4-year university. 2, the small classes are really nice. And so if you're kind of nervous about studying in the United States, you want a little bit extra help, we usually have more staff. We have smaller student ratios, so we're able to actually assist you. So that way you can be really prepared to be able to go to a 4-year university. Plus, when you get your bachelor's degree, so say we have a student who really wants to graduate from UCLA, when they get their degree from UCLA, it's not going to show that they spent 2 years at Shasta College. You'll get a degree from us, but it'll just show they have a degree from UCLA, even if they spent 2 years here and then 2 years at UCLA to get their degree. And so again, a lot of our international students, you can come for a semester, but if most students come to be able to attend that 4-year degree. So if you want a bachelor's degree, you take your first 2 years here and take your last 2 years at a 4-year university. The other reason why this works is most degrees require general education classes. So these are kind of lower level classes that everyone has to take. So for example, students will have to take either public speaking, small group communication, interpersonal communication. No matter what school you're at, you'll have to take a class that's similar to that. And so you can take your first 2 years here, you can take that here where it's a little bit smaller class sizes, and then transfer. And so we try and make it really easy. We understand that a lot of our students are trying to go to that 4-year university. The picture on screen, that is our tutoring and learning center. And so that is where students who need some extra help with their English paper, they can go there for help. They need some help with their math assignment, they can go there for help. So I talked about the ADT just very briefly, and you probably wondered what the heck ADT means, but basically this is a program for our students who want to transfer to a CSU. So in California, we have CSUs and UCs. CSUs are typically a little bit more practical based, and there's a lot more of them. And so students of ours who want to go here, we recommend that they enroll in our ADT program. So this is where you get a 2-year degree, and these classes are basically, when you're in the ADT program, it's guaranteed that these classes are going to be able to transfer to a CSU. We don't want you to waste your time. You don't want to waste your time. So enrolling in a program like this really makes sure that you're making the most of your time. So basically, if you want a bachelor's degree, after this, you'll only need 60 more semester units. The more competitive GPA means that if you do our ADT program and you enroll, or you're trying to apply at a CSU, and there's another student who just has classes from some other colleges, if you guys are exactly the same and you have an ADT, they just have other units, you're actually going to get a little bit of a bump. So you'll be looked at a little bit better than a student who has the same classes but doesn't have an associate's degree for transfer. And then the TAG program. So this is if any of our students are interested to transferring at a UC, like UC Davis, UC Irvine, Merced, our TAG program is really great. So it stands for Transfer Agreement. It's a really boring TAG transfer agreement. But basically, if you're in this program, you can make sure that the classes you're taking here transfer to those colleges. This is a really popular program, and it should be, because these are all really great colleges. Basically, we want to make sure that when you're in this program, your classes are going to for sure be accepted at UCs. And so just want to talk about the top degrees that we tend to award. So just to give you an idea of what students tend to come to Shasta College for the most, the first degree is social sciences. This is a pretty broad degree. Underneath it, there's economics, political science, sociology, etc. And so this is what students, it's kind of a very broad degree. And so a lot of students like to come here because you can use this for anything moving on. The second largest program we have is business. And so students love coming here for our business programs. The instructors are really great. The students tend to rave about our business instructors. And then our natural sciences, so chemistry, geology, biology. These are actually the classes where you get you get the lab experience. These are the classes that you get to go on a field trip, for example. So if you're taking a geology class, one of our classes is geology of the Northern California coast. And so you can just do a trip over to the coast, basically. And for a class, you get to go camping and learn about kind of the natural systems, tectonic plates, and all that fun stuff. Nursing, so health sciences are definitely one of our biggest and growing programs. I kind of predict this will be our, like nursing and health will be our biggest programs in the next 5 to 10 years. And then psychology. The other degree program I wanted to mention is computer information sciences. So we are currently building a new computer information building. A lot of students are interested in tech and learning more about this. And so we have, it's a growing degree program, but it's only going to get better in the future. But computer information sciences is also a really big program that we have. So we did talk a little bit about the 2+2, but basically one of the biggest reasons students like this is for cost. So we tend to be much cheaper than like a UC or private university. So these are about year figures. So for a year at Shasta College, it costs about $8,000, $7,907. For our international students, if you're going to a UC, which UCs are great, I love them, it costs about $44,000 a year. And so that's a pretty big difference. Where it says $70,000 of savings over 4 years, that's just an estimate if you spend 2 years here where it's only $8,000, and then 2 years at a UC, where it's $44,000, you're going to end up saving about $70,000. If you just go to UC for 4 years, it's still going to be amazing, but it's going to cost you a lot more. All right, so moving on to the next C, that was all the first C curriculum. They're not all gonna be that long, I promise. So we are proud of our caring faculty and staff. So we want you to be successful. So we have small class sizes, personalized attention. We have teachers that will actually get to know who you are and you'll get to know who they are. They have office hours, so you can always meet with them. Free tutoring, and these can be from other students. So it's really nice that you have a peer being able to help you out. We do have the Learning Resource Center. Ongoing support is really important. So we want to make sure that we want our students to come here, but we really want them to graduate from here. So we're not just going to spend all our time and energy to get you in the door. We want to make sure that we're invested in you the whole time you're here. Our international students have a dedicated counselor. So if you're ever unsure about your classes, you want to change your major, you can always meet with them. And then an admissions technician, her name is Cindy. And if you're applying at Shasta, you will get to know Cindy and she'll get to know you. She tends to know about our international students, their background, their family, their friends. We want to make sure that you have a good connection with her. And so again, part of our dedication to your success, we have a tutoring lab. ESL stands for English as a Second Language. And so we do have ESL specific tutoring. They also have events. For example, I know there's been like a conversation cafe so people can just practice talking at a basic level. We do have a library and computer lab. So if you forgot your laptop, you just need to run to print something out. You can just run to the library. The transfer center is huge. So our students who want to go to a four-year university spend a lot of time there. They organize like transfer day. And so there is a day when representatives from four-year universities come here on campus. They also do field trips. And so if you're interested in going to UC Davis, you can sign up for the field trip and go visit the campus one day. We have the counseling center. Of course, you can meet with a counselor. We have the Student Success Center. And so that is any of our students, if you need help registering for a class, you have a question, you can just pop in there. Health Center, we want to make sure you're healthy while you're here. Cafeteria. Starbucks is a really big draw. It's probably weird to say under campus resources, but I feel like we all realize how important coffee is in helping us be successful. We do have a number of campus clubs. So we do have an intercultural club where our international students tend to gather. We basically want to make sure that you can find like-minded people, you can get involved and really feel comfortable here. So we have the Computer Information Systems Lab that is currently being built probably as we speak. They're probably out there working on it. And then for any of our students interested in music, there are dedicated music practice rooms. So if you're on campus, you have your instrument, you just want to go bust out some scales, you can go and practice, and it's a nice soundproofed room. And then convenience. So we want to make it easy for you. So the application is pretty easy to fill out. Again, ongoing support services. We want to make sure that you're supported the whole time you're here. We have an excellent education, and then we have great transfer programs. So students who want to go to four-year universities, that's what we're all about. We are very well versed in what it takes to do that. One other student testimonial, this is Hwayon Seo. And so she said that this is my third semester at Shasta College. The ESL, English as a Second Language, classes have been great. I'm currently a member of the Student Senate and the Intercultural Club. I strongly recommend you come to study at Shasta College. So the Student Senate is also our student leadership. So if you want to get involved, you want to have a say in what's happening at the campus, the Student Senate is the place to go. They also have a free lending library. So our students who want to check out textbooks that have been donated can go there. They have a food pantry. And so if you're on campus and you're food insecure, you have a place to go. And then they also are the ones who make your student ID cards. And so if you want an identification or that'll be your bus pass, you can visit Student Senate. All right, and so for our international students, when you come to Shasta College, we want to make sure that you're really comfortable here. So you do get a tour of campus that's usually led by one of our fellow students. They typically will show you around the classes that you're going to take, the buildings that you'll need to know, as well as Starbucks. That's typically a stop on the tour. You do get a personalized international student orientation where you get to know other international students. You can meet with a counselor, and so they will look at your past classes, they will talk to you about your degree and what you want to do, and they will help you set up an education plan so you know the classes you'll need to take. We do have that admission specialist, Cindy, and she'll help you with all the application paperwork. So if you have any questions, she's an expert. She knows everything about CVIS and visas and way more than I know. She's amazing. We also have a peer ambassador. And so this is a fellow student. They'll probably be the one who takes you on the tour, but this is someone you can go to the whole time you're at Shasta College. And so in the middle of the semester, if you have a problem and you're not sure, you don't want to talk to any of us, you just want to ask another student, or you're trying to register for classes and you're trying to ask, hey, have you had this instructor? I want to know what they're like. There's someone that you can talk to the entire time. And so the next is just how to apply. If you're interested in how does it work, basically we encourage you to visit shastcollege.edu international. Right now we have a PDF application that you can fill out on your laptop. We're moving to an online application. You basically fill it out, read through it, submit it, and then you wait to hear back from Cindy, our admissions officer. And so if you're not sure what you need to apply, basically there's the application. We do require a proof of language proficiency. So we are open access, which means if you're worried your grades aren't high enough, we don't have a GPA requirement at Shasta College. You just have to meet all of the other requirements. There is a financial statement. This is something that's required by us because it's required by the government. We want to make sure that while you're here, you have enough funds to be comfortable, and we don't want any of our students to go homeless or anything like that. And so this is just a way of showing that you either have funds or funding coming in. And then a health statement. We want to make sure that our students are healthy or we know anything that's coming up. And then there is a one-time application fee. You don't have to pay that until you apply. So if you're curious, you want to learn more, or you just have questions, we're not going to charge you. But once you're ready and you know you want to come here, it's just a one-time fee. Eventually, you'll need official transcripts, and this is only so our counselor can help place you in classes. We're not going to look at your GPA and decide that you can't come here. You do need health insurance before coming here. When you submit your application, it's not required you have it right then, but before you come here, it's necessary that you do have it. And so I talked about that we don't have a GPA requirement, but we do have an English requirement. And so you are probably all familiar with what's required. So you can take a number of tests. You can take the TOEFL test, the IELTS, the STEP ICAN, the Pearson PTE academic. You can take any of these tests to show us that you're English proficient. If you're worried that your English skills aren't quite up to there, if you're just a little bit low, so if you don't quite meet the TOEFL test requirement, you still need to send us your results. And if you're within a certain range, we can still admit you as long as you take English as a second language courses. So if you don't quite meet it, it doesn't mean that you can't come. It just means that you'll have to take some additional courses in order to be able to be admitted here. And then once our international students come, the next steps are orientation, counseling assessment, education plan. And so this is kind of standard for all of our students. So you have your international student orientation, meet with a counselor. Your education plan is just the piece of paper, the PDF they sent to you. So you know, okay, next year, what classes I'm going to take. If you ever need to change, it's super easy to change. The Student Success Center was built specifically so our students have a place to go when they have questions. And so if you're on campus and you can't meet with the counselor because she's meeting with another student and you just have some trouble, you can meet with those staff and they'll be able to look at your education plan and say, okay, this is what you need. Here's how you can register. Here's how to use our system. They're a great on-campus resource, or right now they're working from home so they can call you or set up an appointment and be able to help you that way. All right, and we're just about done here. I won't take up too much more of your time, but this is one of our past students, Suichi Oishi, and he said that all of my teachers are great, helpful, and flexible. The counselors give good advice and help me develop my academic career. Shasta College is a great place to start your academic studies and life in America. And so this is one of our students from Japan who is majoring in political science, and we appreciate the feedback. We want to know that we're helpful and we're actually helping students achieve their goals. Excuse me. And so this is something that we really appreciated hearing. All right. And so last, before we get into questions, I just wanted to show you all of our contact information. And so if you want a copy of this presentation, of course, I can send it to you. Otherwise, I recommend you just take a screenshot, take a picture of this. Cindy is our staff. If you have questions about admissions, visa, something that I don't know, she's the expert. So there's her email right there and her phone number. If you have a question for me, I deal a lot with our internet, like once you're here, getting you involved, and also some of our outreach, and you can email me or call me. We are working from homes, but our our phones are being forwarded to our personal phones, so you can still call, and that's completely fine. And then Dr. Yu is our Dean of Student Services. He speaks fluent Mandarin, and so if you speak Mandarin and you're a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit nervous by English speaking skills, you can reach out to him. He also has WeChat, and so he's available to talk to all of our international students. And of course, if you don't speak Mandarin and you just have a question, you can always reach out to him too. He's really nice for all of our students, not just our Chinese students.